Warning, this episode contains strong language or mature themes. Parental discretion is advised.
I always like to listen to music.
So do I.
I brought my tapes. I'll just set it in, and now we push this button.
Welcome to This Podcast is Uncalled For.
What's uncalled for about it?
What we doing at Tijuana?
You met a girl, didn't you? I was like, oh, how did you know? He was like, oh, because it always happens. It always happens. It's the only stupid reason that you would ever drop the ROTC, because of a stupid girl.
And then look, thank you back home.
Oh, that's going to be great for the football charts.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
I can think of 100 right off the top of my head.
Is paid a genre?
So it just, a lot happens behind the scene that people don't know about. Like, it's hard for the average voter to understand how much of what they think is their democracy is decided by faceless people to them. You know, you and I know who's making these decisions.
There you go. These are the kind of discussions we have. Fortunately, we're both fairly level-headed people. Again, we're looking at each other in the eye. We're not going to say anything derogatory to the other person. And, of course, neither of us is drunk.
Take me to Gay's barbecue.
It's a bit of a slap in the face and insults.
But you didn't even give him a chance for a wild card spot.
And the look on Mike's face.
They love big boys like you.
It's kind of, what is that character from Guardians of the Galaxy who takes everything literally? The people are out there, like, they could have taken it literally.
Yeah, we're crazy people and we love what we do, and so we just keep creating regardless of how hard it can be sometimes.
Thank you, and thank you for having me on your podcast.
Oh, absolutely.
And remember, no you.
That is uncalled for, Michael.
And now, your host for this podcast, Mike Chernevsky.
I have a lot more on this tape. Here. Listen to this.
Well, the name of this podcast is Stuff Uncalled For?
This podcast is uncalled.
Podcast, all right. Well,
And all y'all, subscribe and like and comment and subscribe. Yeah, I said it.
Fuji!
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the podcast. And we got a guest today. I'm going to have him introduce himself.
What's up? What's going on, gang? You guys already know it's God, man. What's up? You know, y'all been hearing my voice a lot recently, and you just get ready to hear me even more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just met God at a IFC meeting within the past week. So
Yeah, a little local film event, but they know that, but everyone who rock with me might not know that.
So how'd you get into? We'll start with film.
How do I get into any of the stuff that I'm into? It just kind of happened. I just talked to people, and film and music seem to be very popular. I mean, I guess theatrics in general is just things that people like to do. So, yeah.
Where are you from originally?
Man, so Emporia, Kansas is my hometown, is where I was born. At least that's what we recognize it as today, with the current education system that envelopes the globe. But then, military family, so I've lived in Texas, Florida, Colorado. Mm-hmm. I lived in LA for a little bit, lived in Germany, and then even within a lot of these states, we lived in different cities, a bunch of different schools, so there was a lot of moving for the young God.
Mm-hmm. And how'd you come to be in Kansas City?
Kansas City. Well, I mean, Emporia is like an hour away, so it's right down the street.
Yeah, I've been.
Yeah.
It's been a while, but I've been.
Yeah, so I mean, if you're from a small town, people typically flock to the biggest city, and since like hometown, like, it's like if you're from, it's like hometown, you typically want to stay where you know people. And this just happened to be the area that one of the people who helped bring me into existence on this planet, that they were from. So Kansas City was close to family, and that's basically it.
All right. So, education, what was that like?
Man, yeah. Education. I mean, you know, most people in the United States or they're associated with the United States receive a very similar education as far as what society expects from us and how society expects for each of us to behave and interact, right? If you're too noisy in the class or if you don't obey the teacher, then you get punished. And if you do exactly what you're asked to do and if you're complicit, then you get rewarded, right? So that's the same. I was shown that. But as far as details go, like knowledge about anything that you would outside of like societal conditioning that you would expect from a school, I'm pretty educated individual. I've been in rooms where I've held conversation with physicists. I've been in rooms where I've held conversation with theoretical physicists, with musicians, with artists, with welders, with diesel mechanics. I'm pretty well versed in a lot of things. I soak up information like a sponge, and people typically find out, like, I mean, at this point, I think most people are done underestimating me. I mean, because most people have figured out, like, okay, that's God. But, like, before people really started figuring out and understanding that, they would find out pretty quickly that, oh, not only is this person not dumb, but he knows just as much, probably more than what I thought he knew, than what I may even know in this field. And when he explains it to other people, they seem to instantly understand what he's saying. So, yeah, it's a pretty interesting journey that I've had so far.
Not the answer I was looking for, but good deal. Good deal.
Thank you.
Like, where did you go to school?
A lot of schools. I went to 2 high schools, 3 middle school, 2 middle schools, and a gang of elementary schools. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that kind of makes sense for a military brat, as you were.
Yeah. College, a couple colleges.
Yeah, no college?
I went to Park University, officially on paper, and then officially off of paper, Emporia State. But just like school, so in college, Park University had a policy of, a lot of the individual professors had policies of, if you miss this many classes, then it's an automatic flunk. So I wasn't missing classes, and they're like, none of you guys are going to pass if you don't get into your book. So it's like, I barely was showing up to classes. They didn't fail me with it. A lot of classes I just was showing up because I didn't want to get the fail. Didn't purchase any books, but I passed all of my classes very effortlessly. Like, I was waking up doing like quarter projects or semester, whatever the terms were, projects. I'm rolling out of bed the night before, doing them, going up, doing my projects, presenting, and I mean, what's the word that they give? Just like effort. It was just effortless, right? It was just like, it was too easy. It was way too easy, so.
All right, yeah. Park University, not too far from here in beautiful Parkville, Missouri.
Yeah, and when I was in Emporia, so I was going to ESU, not on paper, but like no one could tell. But that was less of being treated like a student and more of being treated like a professor's guest, because I would walk into some courses and people would, the professors would sit down and pick my brain, or like, yeah, it was pretty interesting. Like, when you're around people who are humbly educated or people who are very educated, they can kind of tell, like, I remember, like, he's like, sometimes you meet people who are naturally geniuses and other people who work to become geniuses. And he's like, very rarely will you meet people who are naturally geniuses and work hard. And I was like, thank you for the compliment, man. It's what I do. It's what I do.
Good deal. And between Park and Emporia, you think that's helped you out?
I mean, everything this far has helped me out, being a better version of myself, better journey, for sure. I mean, Lil Wayne, you know who Lil Wayne is, right?
Yeah.
Lil Wayne once said, I'm pretty sure on, it was a track with Drake, Believe Me, he had a lyric that said, it went along the lines of, it's not about what you walk away from, it's about what you walk away with, right? So, me as somebody who's very conscientious of time and time spent, because I would never dream of wasting my time. Every situation, every scenario that I'm in, I look for ways to try and figure out what can I take from this situation to make sure that like I appreciated whatever the moment, whatever was given to me, I appreciate as much as possible, to also help me grow as an individual.
Mm-hmm. Good deal. Good deal. Sports fan though?
Man, I mean, you know, I like watching. I like boxing. So, you know, you got Floyd. You got Lomachenko. Tank. Well, that nigga Tank is a dog. That's cool, right? Yeah, okay. Yeah, so Tank is a dog. I'm a big boxing fan. I'm a big hoops fan, man. Look, let me tell you, I prefer to hoop more than I enjoy watching hooping, though. Because, like, once you get to, like, I think a certain skill point or a certain level in your, like, either IQ or development, probably not IQ, because there's probably a bunch of nerds who like to watch, like, but, like, once you get into, like, a certain skill set and degree, like, it becomes less of, like, I want to watch, because, like, when I'm watching that, I'm like, what would I do in this situation? Then I'll be seeing other people scoring. I'm like, bro, not on me, like, but, you know, the best talent that I've had the opportunity to play against collectively, I've played against like G League players here and there and some players who are in the league now, but like collectively was like Emporia State. A bunch of the D2 cats went to this local hoop session. This was when I was about 245. I'm like 225 now. They went to this local hoop session, and I'm like, I hadn't hooped in like a year, 2 years, and I'm like, bro, this is D2. I'm like, this is D2. I'm like, oh man, because I'm like, I didn't start hooping until I was 17, so like late bloomer, or I got into it late, but I'm like, and you know, I'm like, this is D2 hoops right here. I'm like, oh, if this is D2, then what the hell?
Yeah, basketball I never played past an intramural level. I didn't try to play in high school, but and I went to D1 school, UMKC.
Man, oh yeah. I've been trying to find some UMKC players slipping, man. I've been trying to catch some people lacking because like I like to hoop because I don't like fighting, but I do like that, right? And like basketball is almost like a fight. It's like it's a fighting style. Like depending, I'm like psychopathic about it and everything I do, right? So, yeah, I'm very good at basketball actually, and I haven't had anybody who's really made me try yet. Like I'll be trying to tell people, like I'll be getting buckets on people effortlessly, and they be talking. I'll be like, bro, like I'm not even trying, like not even. I couldn't force myself to try in this situation if I wanted to, because I tried to force myself to try. My body said they're not worth it. So it's like, that's just how it is being better than people, I guess. So, yeah.
Who is your favorite player of all time?
Man, if it's not Russ, then it's Hakeem. Like everybody knows how I feel about Russ and Hakeem Olajuwon. Russell Westbrook to me, like if I had to create a starting five, right, of all time, right, I'm taking Hakeem number one overall. I probably would let Russ slip to second or third just because, like, the way that he's disrespected, people wouldn't pick him up early. Yeah, if it's not Hakeem, it's Russ for sure. I mean, you know, I like Kobe, but Russ and Hakeem are standouts for me.
Good deal. Yeah, good thing you said Hakeem because I have ties to the Houston area.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah, I'm very well aware he won 2 titles and was the number 1 player picked in that particular year,
which had
2 picks later.
The guy they called a GOAT, Michael Jeffrey.
Yep. Michael Jeffrey Jordan, for those wondering what he's talking about.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. In fact, the only NBA game I ever had a chance to attend in person was a Houston Rockets game, but it was well after Hakeem. It was Yao and McGrady.
Yeah, okay. I mean, T-Mac and Yao were crazy. Like, but T-Mac was crazy. Mm-hmm. I studied T-Mac for a little bit. I studied Hakeem for, man, my post game. I'm trying to tell y'all, like, it's crazy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you know, I like football and MMA, and I enjoy anything that is enjoyable.
Yeah. I did play a little football in high school. Wasn't quite good enough to play in college. Then again, UMKC doesn't have a football team, so.
Yeah, which is, you know, odd, but it is what it is. Washburn, Topeka, they have a football team, D2, right?
Yeah, Washburn's D2. So, football, Notre Dame, Florida State for me, and recently, because I'm a big Deion Sanders fan, I'm interested in seeing what he has in store at Colorado. Because he did a heck of a good job at Jackson State, and now he's at Colorado. gonna be interested to see it.
Yeah, he's definitely found a way. He's definitely found a way to stay relevant. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And credit to his son Dion Jr. For using his social media platform to give us all behind the scenes. You know what's going on there.
Yeah, I don't follow them too much, but
yeah. Anyways, probably shouldn't talk about football too much. Otherwise, we're getting into a discussion that's been had.
I mean, you know, with
many
sports
times on this podcast. So
yeah, sports. I mean, because sports is cool. Like you can approach a lot of things as a sport too, right? Like music, even for instance. I know. I heard. You know, I think it was Cole say that he approaches music as he approaches music as a sport, but I mean, and you definitely can, because if I were to approach music as a competition, like, you just get to the point to where, you gotta just accept, like, when you're sitting next to people who are just and it's like, I'll be listening to myself and I'll be like, bro, anybody who says that, anybody who like even tries to come out of their mouth and disrespect this project is clearly like J. Cole once said, a nigga don't like me, he's just a fucking hater. But yeah, so I mean, I guess it depends on what you call a sport too, because what we define as sports has been given to us by the societies that we've been born into.
Well, there are some people that consider chess a sport. Chess ain't a sport.
I'm pretty killer at chess. I'm nice enough. My ELO's like 400, but I can take.
I teach it professionally, and my I have a provisional rating of 1000.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could. I run against the engine a lot at like 3200, and like that's how I gauge my ELO's like 4 something. But I'll definitely give anyone like.
There's never been a human that reach 3200. I mean.
Yeah, no, 26, 27.
2800. And
it's Magnus and Hikaru, right?
It's Magnus and Kasparov.
But okay, so Magnus just stepped down, and so that's why Hikaru was the world champion.
Hikaru's not the world champion.
Not anymore?
No, he never was.
Who was it?
Ding Liren is the current.
I thought Hikaru became champion once Magnus stepped down.
No, it was determines between Ding and Ian Nepo. I'm not going to try to pronounce his name. But I think among American grandmasters, Hikaru is up there.
Man, you know, it's not often. See, this is what I mean. I'll be trying to tell people, my bad, not to cut you off. I'll be trying to tell people, like, I really can talk about anything. Like, you can't have a chess conversation with everybody. You can't have a sports conversation with everybody. And, yeah, it's really one of my big things is to be able to try and like speak to everybody and talk to people on like an individual level as well, which is like a big reason why I made the project too. A part of the reason why I named it Burn Your Maps is because I kind of look at, like earlier you might have heard me say that what we consider to be sports is all based off of the perspective that we've been given by the societies we were born into. I said it specifically like that because the way that people tell us to look at life or feel about things can be seen as a guideline to life or as a map, right?
Right.
So I'm telling people, like, yo, burn your maps. Whatever they told you life was, however they told you to feel, however they told you to think, whatever you've been told to believe, whatever you've been told was real, all of it. Burn all of it, right? That's what, like, get rid of all of that information because everyone's just been making stuff up as they go, right? And so even like with the songs on the project, they're specifically meant to like, one, be entertaining, right? But also to like give you clarity or give you different light or give you different perspectives on certain things or help you grow as an individual. Like it's very well done. Like it's all 14 tracks. It's very well packaged. Like it's a Grammy level project, modestly.
Good deal. What do you like most about doing music?
What do I like most about music?
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess the fact that I can do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess
that's good enough reason. Yeah.
Yeah, and anything really, like, I guess the fact that we can do it should be.
That's what we as humans, I think, that's what separates us from everyone else is our ability to create and to think differently and to rationalize.
I think, well, other animals definitely create, right? They create dams, they create their own things, regardless if they're deemed as worthful or great by humanity is one thing in and of itself, but like they might deem some of the structures humanity creates as useless that humanity is like, oh, this is amazing. as far as thought processes go, I don't think we can really say how they think yet because we haven't found a proper way. Well, we found the proper way to communicate with them. They can understand our language, but we don't necessarily understand what they're relaying back to us. So until we get to that point to where we can actually look at them and listen and understand their speech patterns or what they're saying, I'm not for sure. Because it'd be like if you met somebody from Asia, like if they understood you, but you wouldn't be able to tell their intelligence because there's that communication barrier. They understand you, but you don't understand what they're saying to you.
Well, it depends on what part of Asia they do speak Japanese.
Okay, well, obviously, okay, for sure, but like German or like just a random person, like if you don't understand the language that's coming back at you, then that's not a which like is something that I think is like also like made people turned off by other people or not understanding other people. Is like we could both be speaking English, but I could be from South Central and you could be from Queens, right, or Manhattan. So we're both speaking like we recognize the words that are coming out of each other's mouths, but the vernaculars or the flows or the word patterns or the word choices might make it something completely different to where you like we're speaking the same language but not completely understanding each other.
I think a better comparison would be U.S. English versus UK English. That's probably a better comparison because we say elevator, they say lift. We call them fries, they call them chips. We call them chips, they call them crisps.
Even up north, I feel like I'm pretty sure they call water fountains bubblers. Like in
some
New
parts,
England
area. That's an interesting thing about American English too. Is that there are so many dialects and everything. And I've heard that up north they tend to use a bubbler.
Well, you know, go ahead. You got
in the South, in East, throughout the country, we'll hear soda in some parts. We'll hear pop.
Coke.
In some
Texas
parts.
loves Coke.
Yeah, Texas in the South, it is universally just Coke. Yeah.
Everything.
And of course in the South, they say y'all. And everywhere else it'd be something like, yins is in the...
Missouri.
Yeah. Yins is actually a Pittsburgh thing.
Man, yins. Yeah. John's, that's Philly. Let me go one of them Johns. Thank you. Shouts to Creed for putting us on. You know what's crazy about humans too is like, bro, because humans focus like so much on like humans constantly dream about being human, but like don't even realize it because you know humans always are obsessed with like, bro, I want to be a god or I want to do this or I wish we could live forever. But it's like everything that we're asking for, right, as humans. If you look around us, honestly, we're basically what we consider to be gods. We're basically gods to the rest of life, just as far as our lifespans, significantly longer than almost every animal that's alive on the planet. Significantly, there's very few animals that outlive a human, right?
Tortoises and elephants.
Yeah, and we're one of the largest animals on the planet, like significantly larger than most other life. Like there's very few animals that are larger than humans. You got
species of whales.
Yeah, elephants, giraffes, like horses, maybe some apes, but like there's not too many animals that are bigger than us, right? And it's like our like feats are like technically superhuman. We can run for hours, right? We can like to other animals that's like, bro, run for hours. So it's crazy like to see how humanity operates. You guys are like everything that humanity, it's just that like it doesn't feel that long because from our perspective, right, or from the perspective that's been given, right, the same way how when you chunk a word when you're learning how to spell, like chunking it makes it more easier and manageable. That's what calendars do, right? Calendars are just chunking life so they make it seem shorter than what it is. And it's like because we've got all of these distractions and because we've gotten used to living in our own skin, humanity hasn't really been able to look out and see like, bro, like we're literally on like a whole like different level of existence than most beings. Like even if you take away like the external accomplishments, just our existence feels like we just live longer and we're stronger. Like we can move giant, like we're giants, man. It's like, it's just crazy.
Yeah. And
to build at least.
That's one of the appeals of science fiction to me because depends on what type of sci-fi, but they look at the questions of mortality and long life and all sorts of sci-fi genres. I'm a big Star Trek fan, and there are plenty of alien races that outlive humans. Some even eschew corporeal form.
Yeah, I mean, I try to stay away from fiction as much as possible, and I'm not saying that.
It is part of the human expression, though.
Yeah, no, not like I'm not. I try to be as logical, but like that's not to say that like aliens. I mean, technically, if you want to get technical, like compared to every other animal, we're an alien, and every other animal to us is technically an alien. We're floating on a giant rock through space, right? And it's like so. Yeah, I mean, basically, that's basically what it is, right? So I'm not gonna say that life only exists on Earth but just from what we've been able to gather with our physical tools, that at least like with humanity's current physical capabilities, there's been nothing to give them the idea that there may be life beyond this rock.
There's still a lot that we as a species don't know. But
can't even retrieve a submarine from the planet that we inhabit yet. So that's been in the news lately. Don't do a better job at building submarines. I mean, people have figured out how to build submarines without getting crushed to death. And so learn from that. That's how I try to learn. I don't enjoy making mistakes. I'm not gonna say I make mistakes. I'm not gonna say I don't make mistakes. But I like if other people make mistakes, or I definitely try to learn from others. But I guess I learn from experience. So I guess we all learn from experience. So I guess it's not so much learning from others, but I experienced you go through something that I just like. Okay, well, I've experienced that now because of being like if you push the button on the wall, or they show those videos of like of dogs. They feed the dog something, and then they feed it to a stuffed animal, and they hit the stuffed animal and try to feed it to like the dog learned through experience. Like it's like, so if I saw you push a button and you got hurt, it's like if I don't want to get hurt, I learned from experience. Don't push. Same way like how they teach us when we're coming up in schools. You see somebody get in trouble for speaking out of turn, or for laughing, or for expressing or exercising freedom, and now they get in trouble. So you learn from experience. If you don't want to get in trouble, don't do what that individual did, because it's gonna. And a lot of times, like whatever that person did, it wasn't anything bad, but that's how they keep the control over people.
Yeah. And we did those experiments that you're talking about. We did that on humans too. So, yeah. So.
You're talking about like Tuskegee,
like Milgram's experiments, the Stanford prison study.
That one was interesting.
So yeah, we've done it to humans too.
Yeah, it's definitely like crowd control in a way. I mean, you've got whole groups of people who think and behave the way that they've been taught, programmed, designed. Mm-hmm. That's why like people in Russia hated Americans, because that's what they were taught. That's right. People in America hated Russians. That's what we were
taught, yeah.
And it's so crazy because like you always hear about like the billionaires talking about how like Musk and Gates about how they fear AI, and it's like, bro, like humanity, the majority of the population is basically AI. It's like, how do you get AI to work? You program it, and if you encounter this set of obstacles, if you encounter this, then respond in this manner, right? And that's what they do, right? Same thing with humans, right? Like if you encountered a baby on the street crying with no one near, you're probably going to pick it up and take it somewhere, right? Because that's or like black people, for instance, like
this podcast is Uncalled For is hosted, produced and edited by Mike Chernevsky. Opening music is I Thought You Were Cool by Holy Isna CC0, licensed under a Creative Commons 0.1.0 Universal License. The outro music for this episode is Too Cool by Kevin MacLeod at Incompetech.com. Licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 4.0 license. Please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast through your favorite podcasting platform, like our Facebook page at facebook.com/uncalledforpodcast, and check out our blog with show notes at uncalledfor.home.blog. If you are in the United States or Canada, you can call us at 816-832-5160. Leave your message or question for us, and if we like it, we will play it on the podcast. Please support the podcast and purchase our exclusive Uncalled For merchandise. T-shirts, sweatshirts, mugs, stickers, and so much more. Go to www.cafepress.com/uncalledforpod. Thank you so much for listening. We will see you next time.